Do 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 do. Suppose we better get this thing on the road. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Ah, hello, hello, hello. To anyone who's watching the replays, there's no one here at the moment. Um, yes, if you're confused, the time changes in the UK next weekend. Is it next? No, weekend after next, actually. So if you're American and the clocks are changed this weekend, we don't change them for another couple of weeks, which is why I'm an hour late. Yeah, hour late. That'll be the one. Always gets confusing when these things happen. Good day, Adele, my dearie. How are you? Hope you're surviving your time at work in hell. And Mr. Moist Hose, how you doing? Here's Johnny. And Dusty's here, and Yella's here. We got all the cool kids here. Yella's spurting on his socks. At least you missed the eggplant emoji out and made it a little more subtle. And Debs is here as well. Yay! As you may be able to tell, I'm a bit more well this week. Finally kicked that nasty cold in the butt. Oh, it all feels like she's been hit by a truck. Getting up to start 6 days straight. Oh, you have my sympathies, my dear. Um, Thankfully, well, yeah, me complaining about my hours is kind of silly, but um, I'll be doing 5 days with 1 day off, which is today. So there we go. Um, but at least I'm finishing at 6 all next week, so I'll be coming in the light. Yeah, no need for the bike lights on anymore. Yay! But you do have some time off in the very near future. Makes you waiting for the new manager. So they've not said, you know what, you've been doing it. Just take the pay increase and just carry on what you're doing, which would be the sensible option rather than get someone else in who doesn't know the store and what's going on. Hey, what do I know? Yeah, but then not next week, the week after, I'm off for the week. So yay! Which probably means I'll catch Mary's cold just in time for my week off. They close another store weekend. Fair enough. They closed the store, didn't want to get rid of the manager, so I would just move them. Yes. I love it when they do that. They move the managers around to different stores, and I think just as you get used to one and everything kind of is running smooth and everyone knows what they're doing, they switch the managers around and confuse everyone. Yeah, I never saw the point of that either. Um, but yeah, so I'm clear of illness now. Yay! Lungs back to normal, bowels back to normal, nose, throat, everything. Um, just in time for Mary to come down with a cold. Uh, so hopefully I've not got that today, or if it is, it's the one I had that I managed to pass to her. Whoops. Um, if not, I'll get this one. Uh, Adele's nowhere near a Karen. Definitely not. Deal with far too many Karens to be a Karen. Yes. As Isaac Butterfield said, us retail employees should get paid more for having to deal with that kind of stuff. Ah, yes, they're getting a manager. Ah, fair enough. Get me a manager. Yes. The mating call of the wild Karen. It's too early for that. Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Del. Even here, it's a bit early for that. I haven't had enough caffeine. That's the problem. Um, so, other than the joy of work, what's been going on this week? Well, you may have noticed another week with no videos. Pure laziness, couldn't be bothered. Couldn't really think of anything worthwhile doing. Didn't really fancy doing another tank tour video like a month after the last one. It's just kind of silly. Um, yeah, you definitely don't want to pee Adele off. It's just strangle you with a hair. Yeah, but yeah, that's just you hoping. And pick, so it didn't happen. Um, yeah, so so I couldn't really think of any obvious videos to make. So if anyone's got any ideas, greatly appreciated. Um, ooh, still got a bit of gunk to get rid of. But we have noticeably clearer fry tanks if I can manoeuvre a little. Um, because we now only have one batch of plecos in each tank. And this is all the bristle noses. We have none elsewhere, as you can see. That little tank is powered down. Ooh. So yeah, we got under 50, 150, 150, 150, 150, 150. What is getting scarily close to what looking like 150 linear in there as well. Because the ones I got in there growing out are actually breeding now. Um, am I rolling a cigarette? Yes, I am. I don't. I don't smoke the basement tomatoes anymore. Why did I say it American? Um, basement tomatoes. That would be cellar tomatoes. No, just a cigarette. Porky's in the house. Howdy, Andrew. Hope all is well. Pie me. And in our parlance, that means hand us a meat pie. Um, yes. Yeah, I had pork pie for breakfast this morning, actually. I have no idea, Andrew. Weird things happen. I kind of seep into the collective consciousness. Um, Devil's lettuce. Now, the devil's lettuce is lettuce, flavorless, pointless stuff just to put something green in a burger. Nah. Why put greenery and why put vegging fruit in a burger when you could just put more meat or more cheese? Now, adding lettuce and tomato is like saying, "Oh, look, I'm slightly vegetarian." Should just be animal products in a bun. That's what it should be. Nom, 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 nom. Although, what does work well on a burger, and I know everyone who isn't a Brit is going to hate this, and probably most of the Brits. Black pudding on a burger. Can't go wrong. Tommy! Just like that. I remember when daylight savings wasn't a thing. How times have changed. Yeah, I was like, I had a – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – Giving things a move around means lower bioloads on most of the tanks, which means the bacterial blooms went away really quickly. It's funny how that happens when you've not got a lot of large bristle noses in one tank with a very small filter. But yeah, that's what's happened there. We also moved the chunks and sponge filter that was in that tank into that tank. That one there. That one. Lobster burger. Lobster is best straight out the tail, as it were. Like crab. Dressed crab. That's how it should be. Not crab cakes, not anything like that. Literally in the shell. Throughout all fall and winter, I had no allergy issues. Spring comes around the corner, my head is pounding. Yes, I shall be back onto the antihistamines again very shortly. Because I do suffer with hay fever, not caused by hay, it's just caused by pollen in general. So as soon as things start going into flower, I get hay fever. So yeah, runny nose and want to scratch my eyes out most of the day, but minor problem. Burger, black pudding, and onion rings. Now I know what I'm having for tea. That sounds proper, that does, doesn't it? In a big white farmhouse bap. One of the ones with the flour on the top. Sleepy like furniture whirler. Sofa king tired. Yeah. Crab's scary. Can't eat it when it looks at me. Well, dressed crab is on its back, so you can't see the eyes. It's always presented on its back with the front claws facing away from you. Yeah. Oh, do I want stickers? Thank you for a lovely offer, Debs. And it's one of those ones that's really hard to put. I'm not a huge sticker person. I have a few, as you've seen behind me, but I'm not a huge stickery person. If you got some and there are other people who would rather have them, then send them to them instead. I'm sure there's someone else in chat who would like them. There you go. Adele would love them. You know I love you, Debs. Yeah. Mug of Red Bull. That'd work. And again, no, my hands aren't tiny. This is a big can of Red Bull. It's that time of day. Yeah, not long till bed, so got to get the older caffeine levels up. Hello, June. Only Oscars. How are you? Hope all is well. I still have no Oscars, so there are more for you. I haven't got a tank big enough for an Oscar, so Red Bull is going to be my friend. Yeah, you can have a baby bull, a mummy bull, or a daddy bull, or several of each. Come to bread. Oh dear, that's a bad one. June did really well on the quiz last night and lost big time. Oh dear. Oh dearie me. Um, yeah, I weren't there because work and tired and chores to do after work. The joys of doing Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, it means like less time to do the stuff that I need to do. Oh, G's already in bed. Hubba hubba. It's rigged. Oh dear. As long as it wasn't named the bread roll, because even English people get that one wrong every time. There's different parts of the country called the same thing, different names, regional differences. For example, what I would call a bap, Andrew might call a balm or a roll, and Americans just call it a burger bun. Um, a hot dog bun, which, yeah, tea cakes, baps, bread, cakes, buns, yeah. Yeah, it's so many different names, and they're all the same thing. The general gist is if you go on a holiday somewhere in the UK or you're visiting somewhere that is outside of your local regional area, it doesn't mean you got to go too far. It can be like 50 mile down the road. If you go into a shop like a baker's, uh, you look at the. You don't just go in and go, I'll have half a dozen whatevers. You look at the labels and then you call them by what the label says. There's no R in English, but there is an O. Ah, yeah, that's just my English is completely weird. Yes, scones are totally different things. They're not biscuits. They don't go with gravy because we know how to cook them, so they're still lovely and soft. You either have the nasty ones, which have fruit on them, or the plain ones, which you have clotted cream and jam on, or you have the cheese ones, which are the best. A cheese scone is a thing of beauty. Um, Warm just out the oven, still warm enough so the butter melts. Oh, yum 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 yum. Tea biscuits. Yes, rich tea biscuits. We do have those. Yes. Cornish cream tea with cottage cream. Yes. Scones like the soft baked cookie bread treat that you have with a sweet, simple syrup over the blueberries oil. Scones are kind of their own thing. It's hard to describe them. I think the closest thing in American culture is what you call biscuits, but ours are different. From what I've seen, because I've not had American biscuits, I've obviously had a lot of scones or scones. It depends which part of the country you're from. And the annoying thing is the two main areas of the country I've lived in, one pronounces it scones, one pronounces it scones. So I do flip between the two. Um, Adele used to make orange scones with zest and orange whipped cream. So ours are generally about that kind of size. Cut them in half and just yum. Kind of a bit like denser bread, but they're definitely not sweet. Um, Unless you have a fruit scone, then you have to drown it in sweetness because you have to get rid of the flavour of the fruit. Hello, Barbara. How are you? Looking forward to going live with a food tour of Cornwall later in the year. Don't forget to visit the older, what's it called? Padstein. Uh, English joke because the town of Padstow is basically run by Rick Stein, the celebrity fish chef. Uh, Hello, Undertaker, Mark. Different chat. My laptop broke. Oh no. USS Crap Top died. Mine is HMS Crap Top. Banana cream pie for a birthday. See, that sounded fine until you added the banana to it. And I'm not making the cream pie joke. I know you're all expecting me to go there, but I'm not. I'm avoiding those jokes for some reason. I don't know why, because I normally don't, but yeah, so yeah, completely lost my train of thought thinking about green pies. Oh dear. You know exactly what to say, don't you, Barbara? Completely innocently as well. Yeah, bananas, no. I don't do fruit and I don't do plants that move either. Because banana plants walk. It reminds me too much of Day of the Triffids. One of the things I watched as a child that did actually scare me. And if you've not seen it, I recommend it. Actually, it's even better to read the book. Um, yes. And don't watch Mr. Blobby, whatever you do. Um, just don't. And the Mad Mama's here. Room, angry face, room, flower, knife, room, seedling, room, leaves, room. Yep, I understand you entirely. Banana isn't the first choice. Favourite of the birthday person. I take chocolate myself. Yeah, exactly. Why put fruit in something when you can put chocolate in it? Why take something and make it worse? I don't get it. Hello, Patty, my dear. Yes, so the clocks change in the US this weekend, but not over here till weekend after next, the week after Mother's Day, which is next weekend in the UK. It was given all the emojis. Patty Hins. Um, yeah, where were we? I'm still kind of stuck on the cream pies. See, that's what made Patty turn up. Um, yeah, adding fruit to things you can add chocolate to instead just makes no sense. No, you're not making it healthier. Don't lie. Don't lie to yourself. It's like, oh no, I only drink fruit juice. I don't drink processed drinks like Coke or Red Bull or Monster. You do realise there's just as much, if not more, sugar in fruit juice, and it hasn't got the caffeine in it either. Raspberry cheesecake cookie might be better than the chocolate. Yeah, no, it's got fruit in it again, therefore it's worse. Um, you won't shift me on that. There is nothing that is improved by adding fruit. Definitely not a pizza. Because even fruit flavors, and I'll let you in on a little hint and tip here. Most fruit flavorings in things are just citric acid. It's the color that makes you think it tastes of the actual fruit. Yeah, pineapple does not belong on pizza. You got all that list of toppings to choose from, and you think, right, so I've got pepperoni, I've got bacon. What goes well with? Oh no. Mushrooms I get because mushrooms are fairly meaty and actually edible. It's like you got a choice between like spicy beef, spicy chicken, sausage, pulled pork, ham, beef. Ooh, pineapple. What? Yum, acid. Yeah, that's literally citric acid is all the flavouring for all the sweeties and candies and anything like that. Ranch goes with pizza. Thankfully, we don't get ranch in the UK. I've seen a lot of people talking about it, and then I did a bit of research in it, and I'm like, nah, don't see. Mushrooms are fungus. I will not have fungus on my pizza. Mushrooms and blue cheese eggs, then you got fungus and bacteria. Offers sweetness and moistness. If you need pineapple juice to make the pizza moist enough to eat, then there's something wrong with the pizza. Mushrooms and onions, yeah. Pizzas, yeah. Pepper, yeah. So, being from the UK, how disappointed in Darren's Hill am I? Who's Darren's Hill? Literally no idea. Is he some celebrity or some um, political person? The only tills I know are the ones I put money in, and the till Lindemann that sings for Rammstein. That's even better response. You say, I just don't pay any attention to things like the news because it's just depressing, and it's all. I say it's depressing, and it's just put together to get clicks and divide and conquer. I can generally find out what's going on in the world with the important things without having to pay attention to celebrity news or whatever it was. How does it feel for everyone who likes mushrooms on the pizza to be completely wrong about your choices in life? Uh, I've made worse choices than not having fruit on a savoury dish. I think it's talking Biden. Again with the divide and conquer of American politics. Sarah, hello, Miss Getting Honor. Hope all is well. Now we'll avoid the politics. Pizza's caused enough arguments. And Steph's here as well. Hello, my dear. How are you? Hope you're still hating the stupid people. I'm assuming that's not aimed at me, Adele. Because people don't call me lovely, because I'm not. Um, I may have been upsetting people at work this week, but there we go. They can't take someone being civil and professional. They shouldn't be unprofessional. Just saying. Um, we do politics like it's a sport with teams. Except you don't, because you sort of support more than one team when it comes to sports. It's like, well, I support these are my I support these, but then also these, and then also no, you choose one team per sport. That is it. Everyone else is scum, unless they're a massive underdog. Um, Actually, I'm gonna say it's not stupid people; it's willfully ignorant people. I mean, forced the adult, my housework is suffering for it. Yeah. And Mark's been feeding the fahaka. 'Cause, 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 a fajaka. We can be friends if you have to like pineapple on pizza. Sorry, that's a deal breaker for me. Um, you've got that list of all these options that you can have on your pizza, and you choose fruit on a savoury dish. No. I mean, olives would be bad enough. Exactly. You got a chance to add more meat, more pork, or something yummy. Not something that's just going to make everything go soggy and taste of fruit. Yeah, tuna's good. Tuna on a pizza works, especially if you then go with a seafood pizza, so tuna, shrimp, sardine, perhaps, anchovy. How do I feel about sweet and sour pork or chicken? I'm not a huge fan of the sweet and sour sauce. Um, I'm just weird like that. Yeah, it's perfectly edible. I'm just not a huge fan of sweet and sour. I never really have been. Cucumbers, you know what they've touched. Yes, I've seen those videos, Patty. I've seen the videos of people doing it in the store and then putting the cucumber back. So if you get a cucumber and it tastes a bit funny, you'll know why. How about canned sweet corn? Well, I mean, sweet corn is all canned in the UK generally. We only get the corn on the cobs when it's actually in season. Um, but now, I'd rather have sweet corn on a pizza than other stuff. But pepperoni calzone with spinach. Well, aren't you posh? You see, I get cheap and I'll basically do cheese on toast, but with ketchup underneath the cheese, and that's a basic pizza. Add a few slices of pepperoni on the top, job done. I'm hungry, I've got lasagna. And one way to make lasagna even better, put it in a sandwich. Couple of bits of bread and stick the lasagna in the middle and then munch away. Yes, it's messy, but oh, it's good. Same with shepherd's pie, cottage pie, macaroni cheese. That goes well in a sandwich as well. Yeah, you got the potato. Well, yeah, mashed potato sandwiches work great as well. Obviously, they're all immeasurably improved by some cheese on the bread. That's proper cheddar cheese. Um, Cheese and tomatoes on toast under the grill is called mousetraps. I mean, tomato sauce now, ketchup, then put the cheese on top of the ketchup, and that's basically a pizza in my book. Bread, tomato sauce, and cheese, the most basic pizza there is. Um, and if you're really sneaky, you lay the toaster on its side and put it in and do it all in one. So I wouldn't even do tomato slices because tomato is just foul. It's like eating crunchy, slightly off tasting water, which, let's be honest, is my general fault with most fruits and things like tomatoes. It's just like eating crunchy, slightly off tasting water or mushy, off tasting cheeseburger chowder. I've not tried that. Yeah, go to Naples and ask for pineapple on your pizza. You wake up with chocolate, concrete shoes on. Yeah, tomatoes are amazing. They're in the nightshade family, which is poison. Yes, it is. They're a very close relation to deadly nightshade, as is potatoes. I have no doubt Donna makes a killer curry. A killer anything she decides to make. Because you can't beat home cooked food. Cooked by someone else. Because you can cook yourself whatever you like and it just tastes like food. But someone else cooks it for you, it's so much better. I don't know why. It might just be I'm an awful cook. Um, Probably that. And also having very little sense of taste and no sense of smell probably doesn't help matters. What else to eat here? Snort. Green and Jackie, not a fan of it. Snort. A bit like mushy peas. We have that. Love chicken curry. Worry I might glow after eating it. No, trust me. I've had some real hot curries. You don't glow after eating them. You might take the enamel off the bowl when you're done, but you won't glow. Um, Adele is off to get some food or coffee. Mushy peas are disgusting. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm not a fan of mushy peas. And like peas in milk with salt and pepper, that's basically mushy peas. You just mush the peas up. Um, but no, I'm not a huge fan of peas either. There's, again, lack of taste and smell. Um, Plus, if you've got a puddle of peas on the plate, you might as well just add extra mashed potato or chips. Something that the swamp Germans eat in the winter. Snort. Sorry, the Netherlands or the Dutch, otherwise known as swamp Germans. Um, it's a European thing. Don't worry about it. Don't do mushy peas and why mint sauce on them. Chuck at the thought. Yeah, mint sauce goes on lamb. That's about it. Oh, you got. Oof. Now, I couldn't do milk and peas because I'm not a huge fan of milk and I'm not a huge fan of peas. I think I'd rather just crack open a can of ambrosia creamed rice and just grab a spoon. Yes, rice pudding in a can. And why make yourself washing up when you can just eat it straight out the can? Just be careful when you're getting that last few bits out and that you don't slice your lips on the can because that hurts. You end up looking like the Joker for a few weeks. Because with the can, you cut yourself in the corners of your mouth. Split pea soup. Again, I'm not a huge fan of split peas or beans or any legumes really. And Big Steve, how you doing? Hello, hello, hello. What's occurring here then? Says I, Leclerc. Um, yeah, so where were we? Food. Should we get off food because I'm hungry? I'm making myself hungry now thinking about all the yummies. Um, hmm. Here's a weird one. Has anyone got any fishy stuff they'd like to talk about? Shock horror? Actual fish content on a fish based channel? Would be a first, wouldn't it? Um, yes, what else has been going on? Um, we think work is haunted. We're pretty sure of it now. Um, hearing people walking around out the back of the warehouse when there's only two of you in the building and you're stood next to each other. What is the red bag of fish food behind me? That is Hikari cichlid gold, which literally the only thing that eats it is the Happycaras. So generally it doesn't get fed to the fish in the tanks. It generally gets thrown into ponds and rivers and what have you to bring fish to the surface so I can see what's there. If you recall the video I did, was it last summer? Well, I went to the local fishing lake and it was virtually dried up. I was chucking some of those in and watching the carp come up and take them off the surface because they float. So I didn't realise when I bought them that they floated because I thought, well, it's okay. Now, if the Acaras don't eat them, they'll sink to the bottom and then the plecos will finish them off, or I can chuck them in the pleco tanks and I'll quite happily munch them, but now they float and float more and float more and more and then just turn to mush and sink, and then nothing eats them anyway. So yeah, they're probably out of date by now, to be honest. But then I think quite a lot of my foods are probably getting that way. I'm gradually clearing them out. You can see the amount up there is far reduced from what it used to be. There is a couple of others kicking about the place, but we're trying to reduce the amount of foods we have and the amount of fish we have. Doing quite a good job of reducing the amount of tanks as well, accidentally. Well, that one being empty now does mean that I have a quarantine tank, which is why I've left the filter running in it, and it's still got a bunch of trumpet snails in there. I think I've got all the bristle noses out. I've not seen one, and there's no hidey holes in there for them. I took the wood and the cave and all sorts out. The wood dried up a bit, yeah. Bit of an algae farm. That was actually a piece of spider wood. But when it's been in with bristle noses for a couple of years, it tends to disappear. Ricky, how you doing, my friend? Hope all is well with you. Herring with onion. Yeah, that's okay. Roll mops are nice. They're an acquired taste, much like most British seafood. Oh, that final lump will come up at some point. And also to anyone not in the UK, we had our yearly dose of snow this week. I understand most areas of the UK got it way worse than we did here. We got half an inch-ish on Monday. Then Friday morning we had about 3 inches for a couple of hours until it rained and melted again. And then in the afternoon we had about another half inch, and that was about all we got here. I do understand other places had considerably more. You know, really stressed AF with the new aquarium thing. That can happen. Heard from a friend that's starting 8th, I think. So from the 8th. Yes, it's a. I wonder what that was. There's moss floating about everywhere. Oh well, never mind. There's not actually supposed to be moss in that tank. There was a little bit that was left on the centre brace. I just left it there because I thought it was going to die. And then obviously it's getting damp because the water drips from the lid. And it just kept growing and growing, and now it's starting to break off into big chunks in the tank. What's going on with tanks over there, or aquaria over there then, Ricky? Something a bit iffy happening? far as I'm aware, nothing's happening over here anyway, other than the cost of electric going up again, which is why I'm trying to reduce the amount of tanks running, just to reduce the electric bill a little bit. Shoot, I mean, this month is the last month that we still get the whatever it is from the government to help. Not that I've noticed that making any difference, but with the weather warming up now, we've had our bout of snow, our last bit of winter. It should get cheaper anyway because have to have less heating on, and then the tanks will need less heating, and you know, hopefully by the time we get to the summer. Opening a public aquarium, things are going wrong. It's been 9 months. The acrylic dome and panels haven't arrived to the walk-through tank. Yeah, nightmares. Yes, trying to get contractors and everything together and everything to turn up at the right time is pretty much impossible. Usually you just add an extra year on things like that. Electric bills so high this month with 4 blizzards. Oh dear. So we literally had one blast of snow, and weirdly it wasn't actually that cold. I think it only got down to like -4, whereas before Christmas it was getting down to -8 and 9 at night. So it's actually warmer with the snow. Also, it being a lot lighter for a lot longer means it warms up a bit more during the day. Because before Christmas it was like not getting light till like 7:30 in the morning, and getting dark before 4 o'clock, so about 3:30. Whereas now it's light at 6 and gets dark at 6. Supposed to open in 2021, COVID stuff got delayed, and that's still the same situation. Delays after delays. I'm guessing it's all the various companies are just trying to catch up with all the problems they had due to COVID and things not shipping and lockdowns and shutdowns and all the various stuff. But nightmare. With Dusty, hope things work out as soon as possible, and then things go smoothly, and you have all the people come in and spend loads of money, and it all works brilliantly. So I did take advantage this week of having lower stockings in some of the tanks, so we've swapped out some of the filter sponges for new ones because the old ones are falling apart. Yes, I know. Oh, you shouldn't change all the sponges at once, you'll kill the this was an Italian company. There we go. Going to be via ship cargo because shipping is a problem. Can't do the flights. The shipping charge is 10% more than the product, 12% more than the product. Yeah, sounds about right. Air freight is ludicrous. Because it's done on weight and volume, so something like that is going to take up a lot of space, be rather heavy, and they can't really stack things on top of it. So yeah, I can understand. And waiting on a slow boat from Italy. Well, now it's only got to come across the Med and down the Suez Canal, hasn't it? And round Saudi, well, around Arabia. So yeah, it's not got to go that far. What was my shirt say? This one is just a bunch of sayings and quotes from Firefly and Serenity. So things like, "You can't take the sky from me. Curse your sudden and inevitable betrayal. Yes, sir, Captain Tight Pants. We've done the impossible, and that makes us mighty. Dear, Dear diary, today I was pompous and my sister was crazy." Yes. No worries. It's one of my favourite TV shows and movies. So Mary bought me the T-shirt and a cushion cover and a couple of posters. Hey, much like cheese, adding Nathan Fillion, Alan Tudyk, and a certain buxom redhead to anything makes them better. It's going to dock in Mumbai, and via trucks I'll take in charge. Company's responsibility ends once the items are handed over in the docks. G'day, GRB. How you doing? Hope all is well. Hope the bunyips aren't causing any problems. And if they are, just yeety yabby. And I think that should be a saying on a T-shirt for Aussies. Yeety yabby. Got my nuts. Used to be saying what I do is wrong, so we still need to chill on how each person has their glass boxes set up. Yes, exactly, Tommy. There's more than one way to skin the proverbial cat. There's more than one way to run a fish tank. You can take the Babel fish out now, GRB, because we're all speaking English. Oh dear, how many people aren't going to get that quote? Or that joke, I should say. But yeah, as I say, the main thing that really bugs me is the whole but the biological media. No, take out the sponges and add more biological media. No, the sponge is biological media. It also filters, which is what filters are meant to do. Biomedia gets clogged up very quickly and is pretty much useless then. All these micropores and holes that people rant and rave about. As soon as it's been in the tank about a week and they all get full up with dead bacteria and pleco poop, you've just got the external surface area. Which is way lower than that of an equivalent sized piece of sponge. I'll say you do go Hitchhiker's Guide, translate a fish, of course we got the reference. Well, I know you would. Not necessarily everyone will. Always have 500 different ways to do a tank, and no one person does it the same. Yeah. I do it my way. I just try and keep things simple. I don't see the point in throwing money at a problem when just like doing a water change will fix it, or cleaning the filters. Yeah, it just seems a simple option to me. Yeah, no two tanks are the same, except for those. Well, specifically the top three, because they've all got exactly the same filtration in them. There's a piece of wood in each tank, and there is the same stocking level in each tank. But they work differently. I wonder why that might be. Because nature. Yes. Also, the bioload difference between 150 teeny tiny little baby bristle noses and 150 sort of 3/4 inch long bristle noses is considerably higher. Yeah, I say fish tanks are all different. There is no one rule that works for all of them. For example, I have one fish tank at the moment that has no cycle running in it at all. And it's stocked. It's overstocked. Oh no! Relax. The pH is below 6 in that tank, which means I don't have to worry about a cycle. There's no ammonia, it's ammonium. Yes. Weirdly, it's still testing 0 for ammonia and 0 for nitrite, and the nitrates are very low. And I'm not entirely sure how that works, but yeah. Yes, yeah, they're all different. It can be, you know, different levels of light reaching, natural light reaching the tank, or you put slightly more food in one than the other, or one fish grows slightly faster and poops more. That's enough to make the difference. But yes, so I was talking about the black water tank, which when I did my water changes this week, I was a good boy. I did my water tests on that one, and noticed that the pH, as I say, is below 6 because the API test kit doesn't go low enough. I'm just working out, well, is this much darker would be that, so this much lighter is probably that. Just guesstimating. The KH has gone down to like 0.5 because it's registering there is some KH, but one drop is enough to change it. So we put one drop of the test liquid in, and you watch it sink down, and it just changes the color around it. Stickler on my channel watching my vids. Every vid he had a comment out, I'm doing everything wrong. Blocked and deleted. Yeah, that's all you can do. Okay, bye. It's real science is pseudoscience. Maybe we should ask the scientists. Yeah, it'd help if people had actually done the studies into things like, does certain types of biomedia work better than a piece of sponge? And I don't mean does it suck up blue water well. As far as I'm aware, that's a test for nappies and diapers. I just say, well, you're entitled to your opinion, but you're still wrong. You can have your opinion, it doesn't mean it's correct. Yeah, so we're like 0.5 kh and like 3 GH in the black water tank now, which isn't going too bad considering it started out as tap water only a few months ago, a couple of months ago, something like that. And it was at like pH 8.2 and KH 18 and GH 20 plus. They're straight out of uni with fully useless knowledge and not real world knowledge. What do I think? Do people still go to aquariums? They do. Given just the amount of people that visit my LFS, not to buy fish or fish food or an aquarium or a furry friend or a feathered friend, they literally use it as a free zoo, basically. As a, no, we've got nothing to do, it's raining, we can't really go. We'll pop down to Swallow and just have a wander around and look at the pretties. So yeah, I think the trick is to keep. I think the hard part of running like a public aquarium is keeping the prices low enough that people will visit, but keeping them high enough that you can still turn at least break even. Hello, fish lady Donna. We were talking about your awesome curries earlier, so your ears must have been burning. Not from the curries. Low prices means cheap crowds. It does. But there's the economy of scale. It's better to charge 100 people 1/100th than one person the full 100%. You'll get more people through. Start charging the mission the OFS. It has been talked about. See my fish signal inquiry. I didn't. No. Been a busy bunny the last few days with work and chores and water changes and life. And then I made a mistake this morning and I started watching the 24 Hours of Daytona. Well, there goes 4 hours of my life so far. Yes. How is the Deblet? I hope Deblet is doing well, getting better. What was your fish signal inquiry, Tommy? Is it a short or a full length video? I'm assuming you're talking about some content rather than a comment I've missed. A few comments up. Fish giving off signals underwater to help identify an area as a warning sign. That one. Yeah, I missed that comment. I do apologise. Yeah, they definitely do. I mean, I'm watching shell dwellers right now, and they do it all the time. The bristlenoses do it. The acaras do it. The nanacaras do it. The cribs do it a lot. I mean, to the point where like a 2-inch female crib is trying to bully away a full-grown male bristlenose. Doesn't tend to work out very well. It's not that the bristlenose gets scared or hurt. It just gets peed off with being pecked at all the time and just swims off to the other side of the tank for a rest. Like a pheromone or electrical signal. Oh, yeah, they definitely do that as well. Especially when it comes to breeding. We know that clown loaches don't breed in captivity because the correct pheromones aren't in the water. And yeah, I say all animals mark their territory in some way or another, whether it be like a dog peeing on a post or a cat spraying a bush, or or a rabbit peeing on your lap. I'm running an hour late at the moment, as it were, GRV, because we haven't changed yet. But yeah, I'm sure they do. I'm sure fish do mark their territories, mark their waters. I mean, obviously, marking the water might not work so well because water tends to move around quite a bit. But even if they're just putting out a pheromone that other fish can then identify and go, "Oh, that's a cichlid breeding pheromone. We'll stay away from that area," because it's following the flow of water naturally through a lake or in a tank or whatever, or a river. All right, they're breeding over there. Yeah, we know to stay away from them. So we'll just stay away from that part. Prior 6 a.m. is now 7 a.m. Yeah, we're at 7 p.m. now, so it's another couple of weeks before ours changes. Didn't get a notification. Oh, strange. So I even did the whole set it up and then click the done button so it goes to that weird sidebar thing. Leave it a few minutes and then open it back up again, so it should send notifications, and it also should therefore put it up onto fishfan.link. Doing it that way, I think. Not that I'm any kind of tech guru. The only tech I know how to fix is with a hammer. I think it's just YouTube being YouTube. It doesn't necessarily send out notifications all the time. Um, I'm not having anything showing up my end, Adele. I have blue light on the router. I've not got any warnings coming up on the pooter. Oh, pardon me. Yeah. Otherwise, thank you very much. Yellow with a link to fishfam.link. Yes. The place to go to find out who's live and when. My signal doesn't have to swim halfway across the world. Yeah, well, I've had it the opposite way where I've been in like a Google Hangout, let's say, because it's what it was back then, and been able to chat to people in America or Australia or whatever absolutely fine, no problems. Someone like 100 miles down the road, you can barely hear them. Potato cam, and they sound like Tiki from, or Tweaky, sorry, from Buck Rogers. In the 25th century. Just call it atmospherics or YouTube playing silly buggers. There's probably a storm somewhere in between. Or it is just the government hacking in and see what you're up to. You're probably on a watch list somewhere. I probably am as well. That might be it. Let's just hope they never check my YouTube or my Google search history, because I get some very weird confusions from that. Big Brother is watching. In my case, that's just Yella normally watching. Street sounds better than my food service. Oh dear, I won't get into the US phone service and internet service provider services. I mean, although yes, I am in a fairly long contract with mine, I can, when that's up, I could easily switch to one of a couple of dozen different ISPs, no problems. Yes, Buck Rogers, Erin Gray, hooray! Yes. Mini, mini, mini. Why is it that's the only actor that from Buck Rogers that we can remember their name of? Hmm. Nothing to do with being dirty young kids. Even when we were watching Buck Rogers the first time around, it was like, ooh, yes, we spotted. Missy Old Nokia is where you could manually set which tower you'd receive signal from. Yeah, the ones that just worked no matter what. Um, yeah, it's. I knew things were bad when I started getting mobile service down at the fishing lake. Yeah. Oh, no signal. Switch to the next nearest tower. Oh, there we go. Got signal again. Yeah, it's funny how easy that was, and they don't do it anymore. And you had to make sure to switch off either switch off your data or your Wi-Fi, one or the other, depending on where you are. Because sometimes you'll have internet data available. You'll have internet signal, Wi-Fi, but you won't actually have phone signal. And then your phone switches between which one's working, and before you realise it, your phone's telling you you've run out of data. And you're thinking, why do I run out of data? Oh, right. I get it. Because I've been using Google Maps to navigate around the butt end of Norfolk and there's no mobile phone signal out there. That'll be why. Maybe I'll mess around and find out. Do you have a Nokia? I think I've still got my old Nokia brick somewhere as well. It probably still works. You just stick a pay-as-you-go SIM card in it and job done. Just pop the back off and change the battery when the battery dies, much like with the Samsung. Just go on Amazon, order a new battery for the phone, and when it turns up, just put the new battery in. Don't have data, and GPS always works on the phone. I think it's law or something. Yeah, I think GPS. I think that's basically so they can find you. so if you go missing or things like that, or you're wanted, they can find you. Yeah, they're indestructible. Self defense weapons. That they were. Adele just popped up a video about guppy bots. So once we're done here, feel free to go visit Adele's channel and watch her video on guppies, or bite your bites, or spaz snacks as I used to call them. Back in the day when I had like 50 odd guppies in there, and then I added a bite your bishir, whatever you want to call it, and the guppies all vanished over a short period of time. And the bicher grew very fast and got rather fat, and then started eating much larger fish. Sitting and watching the remaining two new boys, and they looked like they were dancing. Have you seen it when male guppies get a bit confused and accidentally get kind of tangled together with gonopodiums stuck in the wrong vent? That's funny. I had a friend who actually had to manually separate them because they got stuck. Because he only got males because he didn't want any breedy, which I understand, but male guppies still get horny even if they've only got males around. So yes, he had that problem. I'm going to nip to the little boys' room. So if you've got any questiones or weirdness, stick them in the chat now, and I'll address it when I come back. Because I'm guessing Adele's guppy video is going to be longer than the time it takes me to have a pee. Ooh. A bit crampy, like your leg. Here's Johnny. Ugh. Right. Do I wash my hands before and after, or just after? If you think about it, you should wash them before. You see, I'm sneaky. I'm lazy. I sit down, which means I don't touch anything, which means I don't need to wash my hands before or after. Just drop keks, sit down, go, pull keks back up, leave. But yes. Yeah, I've done the forget to wash your hands after chopping chilies, and then yes, don't chop hot chilies and then scratch your nuts. Bad idea. Yeah, I'm lazy. I sit down to pee. Yes. Why stand when you can sit? That's what I say. You know, I never understood that one. Yeah. I've worked with people who have had a job where they could sit down, but they, oh no, I prefer to stand. Why? You don't get paid more for standing. Sit down and be comfortable. Save your feet. But they won't do it. Oh, it's better because I have an anti-fatigue mat to stand on. They're bloody uncomfortable. Well, that is me. Yeah, not lazy, smart. Also, Mary won't kill him for peeing on the toilet seat. Yeah. And I don't leave the seat up and then the seat has to come down. You know, the seat is down. I don't lift. Why? You basically got to undo virtually everything anyway. So just undo, pull down, sit, twiddle your thumbs, or get on your phone or whatever, and just have a quick shimmy and a shake the drop of shame off, pull everything back up, do everything back up, out you go. I can't sit still. Standing is preferred for a lot of things. I can sit for hours. Given the choice, I would sit. And then when I get tired of sitting, I'll lay down. On topic, can I ask, do we have or use bidets? Some do. It's kind of one of those things where if you're a bit on the posh side of it, you might have a bidet in your house. But I have an automatic one where you sit down, you drop a big log, and then the splashback goes straight back up and does what it does. Yeah, it's proven fact you get better pee shivers when you're standing. Yeah, I don't heat my bathrooms; they just shiver anyway this time of year. It's not a problem. But yeah, some people do have bidets. I've never had one. I probably wouldn't use one even if I did, because it kind of doesn't unless it's got like a built-in dryer as well. You then still got a wipe to dry your butt off afterwards. Added one of those cheap bidets to my toilet and a game changer for $30. Keep fishing it. Well, you can get the clear cisterns for a toilet as well, so you can keep fishing those. I've seen that one done. Goldfish in the toilet cistern. You don't need to worry about filtering it too much, although I would only do that if you've got some kind of system where you don't have chlorine in your water, because otherwise, I mean, okay, you flush it and you get rid of all the ammonia and nitrate and whatever, but if it then fills up in the flush tank, the system, yeah, if it's then filling up straight from your main water source and there's chlorine in it, or chloramines, that's going to kill your fish real fast. Yeah, if you oh, watching a movie saying you eat ginger sponge and custard. Oh yeah, don't forget the custard. With the skin or without? Tinned or homemade? I know people that keep tubifex worms in it. Yeah, I mean it's a container that's constantly full of water in the house, with skin and homemade. So that'll be some birds custard then. Pea strong. Like a racehorse. Only the best, yes. Can't beat birds custard. Some come out of 10 that is going to get a good scream. Yeah, it's like the people who. I think, is that an Oz thing or is it an American thing, finding a snake in the toilet bowl? I think rats is a New York thing. I mean, I live in an area of the country that's got millions of rats. I've never seen one in the toilet bowl. The only time I've seen one in a house is when a certain little bugger used to bring them into me half dead. Usually about 3 o'clock in the morning. Wake up to a meow and this little white face right beside you and think it looks a bit weird, and then you go, "You got another rat in your mouth, haven't you?" Get rid of the rat without him noticing that you just chucked it over the fence into a neighbour's garden. Um, and then, yeah, give him all the fusses and the thank yous for being a good boy. See you later, Andrew. Australian thing, finding snakes, spiders, and frogs in toilets. Now, the mice, he would just leave the heads stood up outside in a row. The rats he would bring in. Proper rats. Ratus. You know, sort of that long without the tail. Um, Depends on what part of the country you live in, what you find in your toilet. Yes. One of my old workplaces had an outside toilet, which didn't get used very much in the winter because it used to freeze solid. I remember one day someone didn't think about that and they dropped a rather large log in there and it was frozen solid. So, yeah, it was about a week. It was just this big old turd just sat there frozen. Yeah, brother got bit on the butt while on the toilet. Yeah. I've had some bad experiences on toilets, but not involving other animals. Brown recluse. Yeah, say, I'm not being bit on the butt by a spider. Um, that was only because I accidentally sat on it. It was just defending itself. Got bandicoot rats, bigger than a chihuahua. That doesn't take much to be bigger than a chihuahua, to be honest. I mean, I'd say some of the rats around here do get real big. Um, 18 inches long. There are rats around here that will win a fight with a cat, bigger than a Pomeranian. Um, but then that's because I live in an area which is perfect for rats. There's lots of arable farms, lots of livestock farms, lots of people throwing out food that there's nothing wrong with because they bought too much, and they think that when it hits the best before date, you need to throw it away. Um, Mostly because of the farms, though. But yeah, we do get big rats around here. Um, and Pom's so feisty. You see now. I'm assuming you're meaning a Pom as in a Pomeranian, rather than what the Australians call the Brits, which is a Pom. Because we can be pretty feisty. If you look back through history. Um, yeah, it's that small dog Napoleon syndrome, isn't it? Little dogs always have to be louder, more aggressive than big dogs. Got like a bit, making a wife a very bougie chicken feeder. She ran microgreens for the chickens and wants a platform to grow the microgreens on with hardware cloth so the birds won't. Very posh. Central Kolkata, I live in the garbage. Yeah, the little devil dogs, Napoleon syndrome. Eat the whole plant and continue to grow. Yeah, microgreens, otherwise known as greens, just harvested soon. Um, chickens rock, or chooks, or cookie bucks as they're called around here. Yes, the native Norfolk term for chicken is a cookie buck because they live in coops and they go buck. 10 to 14-day-old greens. Butt nuggets. Yeah, you can't beat a good chicken butt nugget. Yeah. Have them in so many different ways. They go with almost everything. Don't eat cat eggs though. You just think microgreens is just some GMO stuff. No, it's just very young plants being eaten. Can you have chickens in the backyard? Depends where you live. And depends on what your neighbours are like. So, for example, me living in a town with literally houses attached that side and like 10 feet away that side, so the gardens are attached. Probably not the best idea. There would probably be some complaints about noises and smells. But if you live sort of a more rural, sort of where you're a detached house, then yeah, no problem. Keep your own chickens. Just be prepared for people to complain if you have a rooster or a cockerel. Yeah, yeah. Lots of butt nugs today. Small dog start fight, big dog finishes fight and gets labelled dangerous. Pretty much. Yeah. Dog started fight, cat finished fight. I've seen that one more than once. You know your cat's aggressive when the neighbourhood dogs are scared of it. Alfalfa microgreen seeds labelled as they're more expensive than normal ones. Bye-bye. No, cheap seeds, 10 times the price. Like, yeah, that's the same thing. Sorry. I mean, they might be slightly different genus, but same plant. And a lot of them are just cress as well, or mustard. And it's the same thing as if you buy. I mean, if you just look on Amazon and go for cichlid shells or shell dweller shells, and you look at the price and the amount you get, and then if you look in the restaurant and food section for escargot shells, you'll get about 10 times as many of exactly the same thing for the same price. Yeah. I bought 50 escargot shells and I think they were $6.99. Whereas the cichlid ones were like 6 for $6.99. I don't eat too much greenery, so it doesn't worry me. I grow herbs, but they're not for me to eat. They're for Latte Bunny. It's got a 24 pack of escargot shells over here, paid $14.99. To be fair, we're a lot closer to France, which is where they come from. Um, I'm sure there's probably farms in the States and whatever as well, but you know, they're not eaten as much. If I look for cocoa fibre exoterra stuff, 1 kilo brick costs the same as a 4 kilo horticulture ones. Yeah, it's knowing what you're looking for and what other things it gets used in. See you later, Dusty. Have a good one. Like, I got these sheets of pond filter foam, $4.50 a sheet, which is still a bit pricey, but you know, if I bought them for aquarium filter foam, they'd probably be $9.50 or £9 or something for a sheet, the same size, exactly the same thing. This pond stuff, for some reason, is cheaper. No idea why. Oh yeah, profit. That's why. Yeah, so there's all sorts of little ways you can save yourself a few pennies here and there by going off-brand or the same thing but for a different purpose. And my theory on the escargot shells is, well, if they're for human use and human food to go in, they're probably just as clean, if not cleaner, than the ones that have been done for a fish tank. If I remember rightly, I think that said the cichlid shells you had to clean out, and the, the restaurant grade ones, it was just rinse to get the dust off. Yeah, so there's all sorts of ways to save a few quid, bucks, dollars, whatever your local rupees, whatever the local currency is. Same as pond line, it's cheaper from a roofing place, and both are the same. Goodyear 45mm EDPM, half the price. Yep. I was actually looking at work because I noticed that we sell pond stuff. We sell like 3 different pond pumps, the 3 different sizes of pond liner, but yeah, it's ludicrously expensive for what it is. And it's only the 15-year guarantee stuff. The one I got was a 25, was it 25 or 30-year guarantee, and was actually less for a bigger piece. The other one is the special underlays and whatever you get for it. No, just use newspaper or old piece of carpet. You can find an old piece of carpet laying around that's big enough. Or if you find one of the companies that does the rentals and does, because every so often they change the carpets. If you find out what they've used where they dump the old carpet, job done. Even just get down to the local tip, they've probably got a chunk. Use tarpaulin except for geotex fabric, cheaper and stronger. Use felt carpet. Oh my god! Hello, welcome to Tim's Desk London. How you doing, Timbo? Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're well and your family are all well too. Good to see you. I know I've not been around the modelly world for a while. Yeah. And I hope them Makitas are being nice to you. Used old carpet under the gravel driveway 20 years ago. 0 issues. Yeah. Or you can buy the specialist weed suppression fabric that lasts for about a year before the weeds that are harder to get rid of can grow through it. The ones that can't grow through it are the ones that are easy to get rid of. So around here, things like brambles, which tend not to die when you spray them with a bit of weed killer, they just pop up somewhere else. Here's your crazy house, not done any modelling for a long time either. Playing with the car instead. Well, I say You got your car. I've moved to the fishy tanks. We grow, we change with age. Our interests change. It's just the way of the world. But it's good to see you, my friend. Do miss our random natters and Trish accidentally walking behind you in her undies. As the rest of you probably don't know, Tim used to be a modeler that I would be on a live stream with, and then we'd do the Google Hangouts thing. More than once, his missus walked past in the back of shop with things on show that probably shouldn't be on show. I'm not complaining, don't get me wrong. And hi, Trish. Yeah, like a fine wine. Yes, we get better with age, don't we, Tim? I mean, you're still ginger, but you know, I'm still going bald. So there we go. I'm just making the most of it. While I've still got some left, I'm making the most of it. More grey now. Oh dear. Well, that's what kids will do, especially when they're redheads and girls. Um, yeah, yeah, the flashing and the getting screamed at in the background was always a good one as well. Uh, the joys of modelling hangouts where everyone's basically at home and all sorts happens in the background. Yes. But yeah, I definitely miss the Timisms as well. That's a yeah. You know me, Tim. I'll just keep on trucking and sod the rest. And yeah, so still with Mary as well, 6 years now, and yeah, all going good. And I now work for a place where they fix screws. That shop that's a bit like Argos but for tools. Yeah, I work there now, which is far better than the last place. Yeah, I'm still me. You know what I'm like. I still troll the Airfix group. Don't worry about it. Um, that has to be done. Someone's got to. It might as well be me. Not orbital fasteners, screw fix. There aren't any orbitals around here. Got a few tool stations, and you know how I'm going to refer to a tool station. Um, you know, that's the way the things go. You've got to take the mickey. Otherwise, life would be really dull and boring. And then you get to your Sundays and you think, oh, what should we do today? Oh, let's go wander around an old church. That'll be exciting. Exactly. You got to find the fun in life. That's good advice for everyone. Find the fun. Stay in touch with your inner child. There you go. Advice from Sharpe. That's why the man of God. Oh no, they do need to reconsecrate the churches and put out the flaming hoof prints after I've been around them, but no, I find the history of the place is interesting, is what it is. Just don't use one ply or be touching your inner self. Yep. Yeah. Don't use Izol toilet paper. Trolling the graveyard. Well, I mean, I couldn't help it when I found Mr. Dick Cocking's grave. That one had to be made fun of. But when you're doing things like you're wandering around a local church and it's like, why the hell is there a statue of Abraham Lincoln? Oh, oh, Abraham Lincoln's family came from around here. Find a farm with a packet of cigarettes and a glass of my beloved bottle. Yeah. You should try doing a shot of Pimm's, Ricky. Tim tried that. Apparently, it's really nice just doing a shot of straight Pimm's. Did it once. Yeah, there is. You know, you're going back through hundreds of years, and people whose families might not even be around anymore. Hello, Dee Dee, my dear. How are you? Straight Pimm's. Yeah, the one and only person who's ever tried that, Tim. I still can't believe you did it. Even I didn't do that when I was alcoholic. Hass is frustrating me, trying to gaslight me on a public forum, telling me I don't have to be a member to pre-register. When a pre-registration questionnaire specifically asks what I, as a member, have expects. Oh, God. Yeah, just have the straight Pimm's on its own. That's not good. Yeah, there's so much historical importance in graveyards and cemeteries. Yeah, a lot of them been in use for thousands of years as sites of religious significance. Um, okay, there might be a Christian church has been on there for 1,000 years or 1,200 years or whatever. But it was used way before then. There's quite a few around here where they've been doing excavations and found Roman stuff and Anglo-Saxon stuff, Bronze Age, yeah, stuff going back thousands and thousands of years, and the site is still in use for the same things. Now remembering the same arguments from several years ago, and we were looking at them before, just trying to warn others. Yeah, saying you can't know where you're going if you don't know where you came from. Exactly. Yeah. Know where you came from, your origins, then you can know yourself a bit better and figure these things out a little easier. You know what a legal grave robber is called? Policeman, doctor, Dave, an Egyptologist. Yeah, all British in that way of looking at it, Ricky. That's what we did. We went around the world and took all the cool stuff and kept it for ourselves. And now every so often we're having to apologise and give people back their history. Good support from Ethan. Ah, yes, that Dave. Had a minor misfortune with a pig at one point. Accidentally put something into said pig and then got in trouble for it. Archaeologist. Political, I can't say it. It's I joke about it, but yeah, that's what the British Empire did. We went around the world, took all the cool stuff, and went, yeah, but we have guns and you don't. We have a navy and you don't. So it's ours now. And now we're having to gradually give it all back again. It's like, oh, you want to set up a trade deal, do you? Now you're not in the EU. Okay, well, how about sending us back all our priceless historical artifacts first? Oh. Yeah, well, so all the colonial powers did the same thing. The Germans, the Spanish, the French, the Portuguese. I don't think the Portuguese, the Dutch. I don't think either of them were quite as any of them were quite as bad as the UK or Great Britain was back then. Um, and the fact there are still parts of the world that we control that are nowhere near England. Yeah, we decided to keep Gibraltar because it was a really good naval harbour. Now we don't really have much of a navy, so we don't really need it anymore. Yeah, it's not like we have a multitude of aircraft carriers and battleships and battle cruisers and the likes. I still think they should rebuild HMS Warspite though, just for the cool factor, and not some modern version. I mean, the World War II version of Warspite. Yep, good to see you, Tim. Have a good one. Love to the family, and have a hug yourself. And glad to see you'll do well, enjoying life and having fun and staying silly. Because if you weren't being silly, you wouldn't be you. Just watch out for those gigolos, okay? Yeah, as I say, it's the whole European conquest of the rest of the world and enslavement of millions, and yeah, we did a lot of bad stuff. Um, but you can't rewrite history. You have to learn from it, or you do the same things again and again and again. And one, you go, oh, that was bad. We've got to do that again. Quite easy, really, when you think about it. This is a case of just be excellent to each other. And remember, it's not the general people that are the problem, it's the people that are in charge that make the problems. When I was a kid, we lived literally downhill from an old cemetery. It's nearly 12 foot vertical and 3 feet from the side of the house. That sounds cool. Um, and I've lived relatively close to cemeteries, like a quarter of a mile, a couple of 100 yards away, but never that close. Um, at one point, my family nearly moved into an old chapel, but had problems with getting planning permissions and converting it into a house because it was a grade 2 listed building. You couldn't change a huge amount. So everything would technically have to have been temporary. The kids in the neighborhood cleaned it up, even refurbished the treehouse. Sweet. Most kids, I'll say these days, even in my day, would have just vandalised it. Bun Bun, how are you, my dear? Hope all is well with you. Did decide not to buy it because I'd burst into flames. Um, no, it was literally the problems with the planning and actually converting it from a chapel into a home, and the fact that it was surrounded by a graveyard, and because it's a graveyard, it still has a right of access, which would mean that your garden is not private. Just bought some of the pigs inside because I need inside rodents. Hello, Becca, by which you mean guinea pigs. The graveyard was part of the yeah. So it was the chapel and the land, which was the graveyard. So yes, there would have been gravestones and dead people buried all around the house and inside as well. Yes, there would have been previous incumbents of said chapel buried in the walls and under the floors. A nice smaller once when I was sick, I saw my bed sink next to me and started feeling well. Yes. Yeah. And people get so scared about anything paranormal. Like, oh, it must be evil and bad and horrible. No. No. Notice walking today, some public right of way was marked as not so, like a whole major route unless walked around. Yes, there has been a fair bit of problems around here, especially with public right of ways and public footpaths that have been blocked off because the farmer decided that, or the farmer sold up and another farmer bought land and didn't realise that there was a public right of way through it. You could have had real skeletons for Halloween. Yeah, quite literally, but wouldn't have to worry about Halloween because it would have been pretty spooky every night and every day. As I did get a vibe when we went in there. At least two, an old man and woman. Man liked to pace the house and went the nights. Woman around when anyone's sick. And there's a child that liked being in the treehouse. Exactly. So there's nothing bad about that. It's I thought, this little dude, when I was sick last week, or I had last week, week before, whatever, when I had cold and it was bad, I was struggling to breathe and all that malarkey. That little guy was hopping in bed and curling up next to my chest every night, and every time I had a nap. I could feel him there, and I could feel him purring. The most terrifying word in nuclear physics. Oops. This house has been hit and miss at times, verging on wanting to move out right away at sometimes. I'll say it's my experience generally, and I have had some bad experiences with things that didn't want to be messed with. But generally, if you show respect and you're pleasant and polite and communicate, say hello, I know you're there, blah, blah, blah. It might sound daft. Do it when the house is empty and no one can hear you. Just say hello. You'll know if it's something bad. Why do Jewish girls like circumcised boys better? So they won't touch anything that's not at least 15% off. Oh dear. Two skeletons. Dad's doctor says very old one. He's on skull like an ashtray so many times now. Stopped. Yeah, that's probably not going to go down too well. Even I've not used a skull. Not a human skull. No, I've used a sheep skull as an ashtray, and a turtle shell. No, I didn't kill the turtle to take the shell to use as an ashtray. It was a antique one. Let's put it that way. It's been around for a long time. I wasn't the first person to use it as an ashtray. It was actually shaped as an ashtray. The house I live in has had a few. And my time here, while I lived here, we had a pool table downstairs. When everyone was downstairs, one would pace the hallways upstairs. Yeah, we've had nothing to lose, nothing of ours. As soon as passers by, I hate being surprised. Out the corner of people's eyes. Yeah, I say it's just. That's generally what I get from shadow. Is I just see it out the corner of my eye. If I look, it disappears. But I see the shadow, and I say, oh, "Hi, how you doing? I see you." I'm sure because I know it's a young girl, so I'm pretty sure she's literally playing hide and seek with me. Um, it's fine. It's not a problem. She's not at all scary. No, that sod's probably more scary because he bites my toes if my feet are in the wrong place in bed. Well, it's broken my entire family's habit of leaving cabinet doors open till we quit leaving them open. We get random slamming sounds from the kitchen. Yep. Always close your doors and your cabinets and your microwaves. Yes. And perhaps that's what a lot of it, a lot of these things where you see or hear about the kitchen cabinets opening and closing is they're peed off that people are either putting the wrong things in the cabinets or leaving them open. So think about it. If you've lived in the house for 20, 30, 40 years, whatever, all your life, it's your home, you've lived there all your life. And things are always in certain cabinets or whatever, in certain places around the kitchen. And you pass, someone else moves in and just moves everything about to where they want it. That's probably going to upset you a bit. So it depends on what it is. Better than anything that makes. I say Shadow will wander around upstairs, make noises. Doesn't bother me at all. I'm used to it now. When I made a snake amulet, I saw so many things in one day. It strengthened my nerves. I don't get scared now. Yeah. A kid used to count some things as fairies, open doors, moving, missing things. I'd say it's fairies, yeah, because fairies aren't scary to a small child. Fairies are nice things. So, well, that's what we're taught anyway. I mean, if you look back through the actual history of the Fae folk, not so much, but we're taught that fairies are friendly and nice, like Tinkerbell and what have you. So if you tell yourself it's not going to be as scary. Mr. Cat from my childhood, bad nights at Clun, then curl up to me. Yeah, I say cat ghosts are awesome. Yeah, fairies terrifying. It's a one I keep going back to, but yeah, look up the origins of the tooth fairy. Yeah, teach the kids that one. You won't be putting money under their pillows every time they lose a tooth. Yeah, I say Zacky Boy still snuggles up. I've seen little Sparky Doodle a few times. That one there. Tooth Fairy portrayed in American Horror Story. That's pretty close to the origins. When you see demons, ghosts, and jinns, no nice things ever. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a ghost. Can't say I've ever seen a demon, but definitely not seen a jinn. Silent D, by the way, on that one. Yeah, it's the same with any form of paranormal thing. It's some things, yes, definitely are negative and bad. I've had a few experiences, but the situation let the situation unfold and get a feel. Don't just assume everything's bad. Not a fan of fairies, spirits. The Japanese word and jinn are a lot more diverse. Yeah, we do tend to simplify things, and so I mean, if you haven't got to go back a huge amount of time for all the various different things that were apparently around in the UK, and now they just get classified as ghosts. Not that bad. You get out of the protection, they'll twist your head. Never run if you see one. It's going to be the same thing. Yeah, the yokai for Japan. There's all sorts of different Japanese things, weirdnesses. Yeah, exactly. I'm not scared of you. As long as you don't do anything bad, scary, nasty, you're welcome to stay. You're not causing any trouble, you're fine. Start causing trouble, we might have a problem. We might have to do something. But the suicide forest, yes. Ayukihara, that's the one. One that was it Jake or Logan, one of the Paul brothers. went there and filmed a video and actually filmed someone's body hanging in a tree and made jokes about it. Yeah, which is when you just. I'm not that I actually cared about the dude beforehand or had any respect for him beforehand, but I just instantly was like, yeah, don't like you. Worse than the Middle Eastern ones. The one that stops by every 2 months or so to mess with her. Echo died in the middle of the night. That's probably just called an update. Yeah, Japanese folklore very complex. Oh, it is. And but yeah, that's because we've switched religions over the centuries and things like that, and things get forgotten about. Not in any way defending those idiots. I didn't make fun of the person who hanged themselves. Yeah, they were being, from what I recall, they were being pretty damn disrespectful about the whole place. And it's like I'd equate it to the people who visit somewhere like Belsen or Dachau or Auschwitz, and then they're like posing for their Instagram, and they say like, please don't take any pictures of the room of shoes at Auschwitz because there's plenty of the pictures online if you want to see the pictures. But everyone takes pictures of them, and it's like they're all the shoes of dead people. Show some respect. The echo will speak something. It comes so suddenly, it never seems to register it. When requesting it repeat, says, yeah, that's just a random EVP. Do something visiting going, hello, Dave. Do druids still exist? We do. We still have a small druidic population in the UK. Quite how serious a lot of them are, I don't know. It's like the Wiccans. There's so many people who say they're Wiccans now, but don't actually. It's like someone calling themselves a Christian that doesn't go to church. Druids as they traditionally were, people who take some of the vague belief. Yeah, exactly. There's people who claim it. Oh, I'm a druid. I'm not knocking them. Each of their own, but not the as because of the pre-Anglo-Saxon druidic faith doesn't exist anymore. I think a lot of it is people with the druidic and the Wiccans is people trying to get back to nature and understanding and connecting with the natural world. Yeah, a more modern interpretation of it. Yeah. To the point where I'm not sure if he still is, but the head of the Druidic order in the UK was someone who changed the name to Arthur Pendragon, i.e. King Arthur. But then it's like all religions pretty much are, certainly Western religions, are modern interpretations of the originals. A lot of Eastern philosophies have stayed the same over the millennia. But Western ones, we tend to pick and choose the bits we like, get rid of the bits we don't like. And wowzers, that went fast. My time is up. So, fake one, lots of fake tantrics, kapatics, and whatnot. The real ones, tantric practice, yeah, so cool. I was saying, more we can learn about things, and to me, being, I mean, I think the modern saying is get out and touch grass. And that says a lot to me. Actually, get out and be in nature and feel it and try to understand it and get where things are and what's going on, natural cycles of things. And thank you very much, Ella. So thank you to everyone who turned up and listened to me rant and waffle for over 2 hours now. Be the same time as next week because our clocks don't change next week. But thank you all. Hope you have a wonderful week. Stay safe, have fun, enjoy your hobbies, have a laugh. Peace out. Rock on. Bye bye. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Ah.